So, back to a new video, back to the project. So, today I'm going to start with the brake and fuel line setup under the car. So, if you're new to the channel and new to the project, I'm building a 190 V12. Have a look in the playlist. W201 from 1984 with a 6-liter V12. So, I'm now at the point to put the brake lines back in, new brake lines, new fuel lines, fuel pump setup. So I have ordered stuff for the fuel line, for the soft lines and the connectors and that sort of stuff. So I'm waiting for that, but I can start with the brake lines because I got almost everything in there. So at first I just use the normal brake setup. This is the normal brake booster. It's going to be connected to the bigger brakes. So they are from an SL500. They are also used. SL500 brake setups are also used under W201. So this model, the 2.3 16 valve, I thought also in the 2.5 liter 16 valves. I thought for sure the 2.5 liter 16 valves and the Evo models had the same brakes in the front and in the back as an SL500. So the first model year. So those brakes and brake, how you say that, the wheel hub. It's the same size, you can just put them on. So I also have a video of that in the playlist, so just have a look. So the normal brake booster, going to put new lines in it. You got 3 connections always on the brake booster. 2 connections in the front are for the front brakes. So they're going to, one is going to the passenger side and this one is to the driver side. This one is going down underneath the car to the back and will be split. This is the old brake line setup, this is a little splitter. It will be in the back and in the car. Normally it's just behind the subframe. I have to have a look how I'm going to do that. So brake line setup, what I'm going to use is 3/16. That's the American size. That's in European size. They call it 5 millimeters or 4.75. I think my brake line setup is, have a look what's on it. I don't know if it's on it, but I ordered 4.75 millimeters. So this brake setup is using a double bubble connection. So that's like this. I just made one. If you can see, it's a small bubble. It's, yeah, they call it a 96-degree bubble. So behind that is going to be a small plug. So you got normally 2. One is just flared in, and the one is a bubble top. So this is the most one used. It's used like this. It's an M10 to 1 thread. So that will be put like this. It will be connected like this and you can just screw it in. So I got a small tool for it. I also bought it, normally I borrowed it from a friend of mine. Small tool. I also have the English sizes like 3/16 for the brakes and 5/16. That's for my fuel lines, but I'm not going to use this for the fuel line. But the fuel lines I'm going to use 8mm. That's the same that is also underneath this car and was also in the V12. So through the fuel rail and back from the fuel rail to the tank. So that will be 8mm. And this 8mm fuel line will be connected as a hard line connection too. So I'm not going to use just rubber with a hose clamp. I think it's just more nice to use hardline setup just with fixed connections. So order that's AN06, so that's an how you say it, aviation to aviation and what was the other, aviation and navy connection they call it. So I will show you that if I have it. So and that's like YIC6 connection. So that's the same size as an 8mm, but then in a hose connection. So and that will be in my fuel line fuel setup. I can show you already a little bit of it. So this is the normal fuel pump setup that is found under the, have a look, that's hanging underneath the car in the back, like this. It's a dual pump setup. If you got a normal injection system on a 90E, I had a carburetor version, so this was not underneath my car. So then you have just single pump setup. And I thought a V8 is also dual pump setup, so I had 2 bus pumps. So I'm going to use the original fuel filter, so there will be a new one in it. It will be connected with banjo connections on each side. And the pump has also that, on this side will be an AN06 to a hose. and this will be used again because it's good, and I used the original bracket, but there will be one pump in it because yeah, this was original in the car. I can use it, it's lived with another fuel, but I don't know how old it is, and yeah, this is a dual pump setup, and these days you can have pumps that can run with one pump the same pressure. So I ordered a Walbro, what was it? GSL 255 liter per hour. So this is a GSL 392 setup. So that delivers enough fuel, but in the video that I will make a calculation and show you how much liter that pump will do at the fuel pressure in this car is more than in most setups. It's about 33.5 psi, that's 3 bars. And this setup is 3.8 bar, that's about 55 psi. So it's a little bit higher in this setup. So I'm going to run the fuel and the brake lines through the cabin. So in the back, I will show you that where the pump setup is hanging. I will go into the car underneath the passenger side to the front, because I don't have room underneath the original placing underneath the car. In the complete underneath the body there is room, but if I go up on the left side, on the driver's side, there is the exhaust, and I don't want to run brake lines and fuel lines very close to the exhaust. So there is just no room, and this is the best placing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you now where I'm going to route it. So let's have a look. So people that are familiar with the underbody of a Mercedes that know that in 190 the fuel pump is, I thought, here, and the muffler is over here on this side. But in the V8 versions like 124, I thought the fuel pump is hanging over here. So I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to put the fuel pump over here, and I'm going to use, I think this connection is going to in the car, or I'm going to drill a hole here, put my fuel lines in here into the car. This is underneath the rear seat, and put a nice plug in it or plug it off in some way. So my fuel pump is going to hang up here, and then the lines go in here, and then my brake line will go over the rear, and that will be, have a look where that connection is. Normally the caliper is hanging over there, so the fuel line has to go to this connection, of the brake line has to go to this connection. To this connection. So here is normally the rubber lines go underneath in here, and then on top the copper line, or I'm going to use cunifer. So this will be over here. So that is the plan, because normally the fuel lines and the old lines were routed through this bar over here. You can see there's still a small connection over here, and then is this routed underneath here. Have a look with the light, and it is going up on this side. But yeah, I've got an exhaust here, and there's just no space because also my steering axle is over there, so I just don't want to do that. So I could choose to take this side, because there's also, have a look, there's also the same space is over here. But yeah, then I get to the same point that there's just no room. So I'm going to route them into the car. So pump will be here, fuel lines are going up. The connections to the fuel tank are over here, you can see them. This is the line that's out in the back there, the line is out, that's the outcoming of it. Here you can see the breather and the return back to the tank. So that will be the connections. So let's have a look into the car. So in the car, so this is behind the rear seat. You can see here's the vacuum unit for your central locking and that sort of stuff. That's in here. You can see small pump. I think in all the 190s it's located in here. So here you can see the plug that I told you about. So the fuel pump will be hanging over here. So I can use this one to get the lines in, or I can just make a new hole here and route the lines in there. So I'm going to look if I'm going to do just drill small holes with the rubber. Maybe I'm going to do that. It's 3 holes. So the connection underneath the rear seat, have a look. this side, maybe it's easier this side. You can see here there's the old carpet. Here is an opening. The lines will go through there and will be just routed to the front. So just can be routed through here underneath the plate, in the back, and behind that plate I will drill a hole, 3 holes again, and then they will go up. So in the car they will come out somewhere here. So I have a look if I can get them on a nice place. So this is the connection where the normal footwell is ended in the car. So I will get them out somewhere here. The best way is to get them as close as possible to here, and then I can route them over this bulkhead to the other side. So yeah, and then brake booster connections. The brake booster will of course sit here, so that's where the line will go. And then my fuel connections are over here. So this is insert of the fuel rail, and this is outside of the fuel rail after the fuel pressure regulator. I don't know if there is a value on top. Have a look. What's on top? Yeah, 50. I don't know. It's 50 psi. I think it's more. I had a look. Normally it's running about 3.5 bars. That could be 50 psi. But when you are getting more pressure, then it will go to 3.8. I saw on an S500 that it uses the same fuel pressure regulator, so I think it's 3.8 bar. So that is what I'm going to do. So I will get the fuel lines in. So have a look. So let's show you how to make a flare connection. So pipe is cut off. So I have the full length still on it because I don't know how much length I need. This is for the passenger side section. So this connection will be on the brake booster, on the brake cylinder. So got the connection on. I will put it in the bar on a place where 316 is on it. So to make the bubble connection, you put this small piece, if you can see. So under the line on the bottom side, that's the height, how much height you need from the top. Hope you can see this. So I put it a little bit down so I got the right height. So this is perfectly the right height you need to push it in. So if you cut that length, then you just tighten it up, both sides. And close it up till they are both stuck, so otherwise the pipe will shift down. So now you put this small flare with the right size. I hope you can see this. This is also 475 millimeters or 316 inch. So you put this small piece, you put in the pipe, and then you put this piece on top with the point. You put it down, then you screw it down till it's tight. You have a look if it's straight, because otherwise you don't get a straight connection. So, and then you just turn it on till you can't turn it further. So these tools you can use for cunifer like this. That is copper, nickel and steel, and you got also for copper tubing. So this is a little bit harder than copper, and it's just lasts a little bit longer. But for steel tubing you cannot really use it because you need a special tool. So this is the best way for homemade tubing. This is the hardest pipe you can use. So this will go pretty good, and cunifer is very good for against corrosion. It's a little bit more expensive, but I really like to use it. So this is tightened, so let's loosen it up again. get the tube out of it, and get this one loosened up. So, now you can see how nice it is. So this will be the connection. So this is how you make a double bubble connection. That's a very nice word. So now I'm going to look if I can get it into the car. So as you can see, brake booster is in. I got the line to the passenger side is in. Going through the bulkhead, I'll show you later on where it's going. And on this side, I don't know if you can see it, but this line is also in, that's the driver's side. So now the last one I have to flare is this one, so I cannot put it on the workbench because I put the complete line in it. So I will put the connection on and then push the flare. So the results. So as you can see, the brake booster is back in position, and I'd like to mention that this brake booster is in the original position, so I did not anything to modify and fit it. So the only thing that needs to be mounted are connected to the brake booster in the engine. That is the vacuum line. I don't know if you can see, but it's over here. There's a small little bit piece of tape on it. If you can see it, but that one needs to be connected, and this is the original line. So I have to modify this one. Look, this is going to some kind of splitter. Backside on this manifold, and this position is going to here, but that's disconnected because if I have to put the engine in, this one is just too high to get underneath here. So that is the vacuum line. So the brake lines, as you can see, this side is for this position. It will go in after behind the strut. It goes down here. So that's connected. That will be connected here to the hose band and calipers on. So that one is long enough, and if I got everything in position and tight, and I can take the line and move it a little bit so it's free of touching anything else, and then just put a little short coating on it. So the line is going, the back line, or the line for the rear, and the passenger side are going to the bulkhead with a little hole in here. There will be some rubber around it to keep it from touching the sides, and then seal it. It's going underneath the ventilation intake over the on the back. There will also be some places where I want to tighten it. Here's one. Already I can put a strap on underneath, but there's also some wiring connected to it. So it's going over there. Two lines. Here is the ventilator is mounted with the 4 bolts, and just behind it I made 3 holes, and one of them is going to the back, the other one is going to the front, to the bulkhead, and then it's over there. Same side, same thing as the other side. So now the inside. Put some light on in the car. So the line is coming up from there and is just going over the side. This one is it. And the plate that's normally over it, I can show a little bit. It's mounted like this, so it's not touching it. So that's pretty good. You cannot stop with your feet on it. Here's also a plate in it. Here. So it's also pretty good, so nothing can be touched when stepping in. So it will go underneath here. I will fix something to tighten it up and not have it loose in here. Also now it's going into the cable rail, and there's also only 2 cables in it, so it looks a little bit messy, but I want to put this rubber in it. That's normally underneath the car. This wiring can be to the side, then I can put just the tubing in here and it looks pretty nice and tidy. So this can be closed then and you don't see anything else than just the normal plastic and wiring. So in the back here, going underneath here, behind the vacuum pump, and we'll go outside just like I showed you before. So here, this is where the wire of the brake line is going out. I think I will put the fuel lines, put a hole in here and put an extra rubber in it, or one, because there's still a Mercedes number on it, so that's pretty good. And because the pump is going to be here. So let's have a look underneath the car. So the lines underneath the car. So you can see here the lines coming out of the inside of the car. So it looks like a little bit rubbish, but I have to clean it because there's all paint and that sort of stuff on it. So I have to clean this hole off. So the line is going up. As you can see, I have to support it on a few places. It's going over the subframe over there to the back. Here's the T-piece. So it's going in here and it's going to split on either side. I have to make those lines so it will go over the subframe again and connect it to this point, and from the other side it will run also over there to the other side of the subframe and to this piece. So that is it underneath the car. So a lot of the lines is now in the car. I think that's pretty good, because you don't have any corrosion issues for lines underneath the car. So I also have no issues with heating problems and that sort of stuff. So that's it. So hope you liked the video about this brake line installation on my 190 V12. So if you liked the video, please like it. And if you didn't yet subscribe to my page, in the right corner is my logo. Please click on it, go to my main page. Have a look in the playlist if you didn't see all the other videos. So the next one will be of the installation of the fuel pump over here. With I hope I get the new fuel pump pretty fast, and then also the connections. So if there are any questions about this video or the way I installed it, or you got any suggestions, don't hesitate to ask or put a comment below the video. I always like suggestions. So hope you liked it. Put a thumbs up, have a look at my website jamespeachshop.com, and see you for the next one. Bye bye.